Hi everyone, Radical Dreamer here, and welcome to a special episode of the Postal Code Unknown podcast for Monday, July 31st of 2017. If you're not watching this and you're listening, I am wearing a Gryffindor house robe in honor of Harry Potter's birthday today, and I wanted to share a few of the Harry Potter-based travel experiences that I've had near London that I've really enjoyed and would recommend looking into if you're in the area as well. Now, again, these aren't very specific sites where filming had taken place outside of very specific instances. More in-depth information is available, and I'll see if I can link to that in the show notes as well. But I did want to talk about two experiences that I had, one with the studio tour and one viewing the play, the sort of quote-unquote eighth story in the Harry Potter world. So first off, I wanted to share sort of like what it's like to get to the Harry Potter studio tour near London. It's not in London, it's a little bit outside, and I've actually gone to it two different ways. One, using sort of like you can get a tour near Victoria Station in sort of very central London that gives you sort of access, a ride on a coach out to the tour and then back directly after that. One of the things that a friend had advised me when I originally went to go do the tour was to book early, and you can do so through their website. The reason being is it's very unlikely to find tickets available on the day of. With that said, I found it a lot easier just to take the train, because there is a bus that you can take from a nearby train station that gets it a little easier to get in and out of the city, and you also have more time to spend sort of looking around the studio tour instead of having a very specific time slot. Now again, it only really takes a few hours to go through, but one of the nicest parts about it is being able to experience these sets that they've built for the films in a very up-close and personal way. There's a lot of unique stories that they've got, and seeing, I think, really one of the highlights near the end is seeing the sort of miniature Hogwarts castle. And by miniature, I don't mean sort of like it fits on a table. I mean like this thing takes up a massive, gigantic room, but it's a miniature-sized version of the castle itself that they use for filming and that they had added to over the years as that had changed, and it sort of changes from day to night and from night to day. Periodically as the room goes through, and you can see just the incredible amount of detail that they put into this model for filming, and just someone who appreciates and understands and values the amount of work that goes into stuff like this, a fan of film in general. It's really sort of incredible to sort of see how each of these disparate individual parts come together in a film. And not to mention, you can get butterbeer there when you're there, which is pretty spectacular. It's very sweet, but it's a fun little treat to have as well, and in one of the few places in the world that you can actually get it. So other highlights include a area where you can see number 4 Privet Drive. You can walk through Dumbledore's office. You can see the Gryffindor dorm rooms, sort of like the room which the kids had sort of stayed in when they were in Gryffindor House. There is sort of creature models, a buckbeak that actually animates, and you can see the spectacular range of motion that they've got going there. Let's see, what else was really cool. There's I'll include a short video at the end of this. There's a point where you can take a ride on a broomstick and sort of see how that animates, and if you want to, you don't have to, but you can get a video of that taken as well. Sort of like working with green screen and understanding the concepts there that are really kind of cool. And it's just there's more to see, and I don't want to spoil all of it, but I do want to say that if you are a Harry Potter fan, that's one of the best places to go to sort of see how this stuff was put together, and sort of like see it in a tangible way, just rather than just being on screen. So that was really cool and really special, and something that I recommend highly for anyone that's a fan to visit if you're in London at all. So second being is also sort of Now, the play Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Now, this is the last pin that I'll be sharing with you this summer. But I just wanted to sort of give you an idea of, some strategies to sort of potentially get tickets if you're on short notice. Now, again, if at all possible, I strongly recommend getting tickets early because they were really difficult. And the way that I ended up getting them in the end is not the way that I'd recommend doing it, because it ends up being more expensive and probably a much less ideal way of viewing probably one of the most incredible pieces of theater that I've seen. And again, I'm a huge fan of big productions, and I think that what's special about this, and again, it's a two-piece play, sort of, which you view in two parts, a part one and part two, and it can either be on the same day or an alternating nights, where they put both together. And the reason why they put both together is they're both integrated. And for roughly about 6 hours of theater, you would expect it to be a long and grueling experience, but I was engaged the entire time. So it's magical, it's incredible. It sort of ties the stories together and really continues the way that things have worked in a very appropriate way to the source material, and it has a really good story of its own. And the effects, the practical effects that the sort of play exhibits are fantastic. So with that said, I do want to say that if you're looking at the website, it looks like they're going to be opening in New York in the spring of 2018, so that's worth looking for as well. But there is a set of tickets that you can find at harrypottertheplay.com that is called the Friday 40. Now, I tried every week for about a month and a half trying to get tickets for these when I was visiting the UK, and didn't get it any of those times. But with that said, it's definitely worth a try to get into it, because it's a much more affordable way to see the show than it would otherwise be. Because it seems like they've got fairly good tickets, they sell for a reasonable price, that it's a much better way to see it. So if you live in the UK, if you live in London, if you live nearby, and you're looking for a way to see the show, this is a good way to sort of take advantage of the fact that there are more opportunities to see that. But I still would recommend highly trying to book as far in advance as you can, because the ticket prices are more reasonable that way, and they don't inflate as a result of being very close to the date that you're purchasing. What I ended up doing, because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to come back to the UK at that point in time, as I had other travel plans and places to go, and sort of like basically at the time I wasn't sure I was coming back, and I waited outside, and it's silly, waited outside from about 4 o'clock in the morning in front of the theater, waiting for return tickets, and it's not what I would recommend doing at all, especially in winter. Not a good idea. But I do strongly suggest that if you've got the time to plan ahead and you are visiting and you are a fan of Harry Potter, you should not miss the play. It's incredible. So again, I hope you enjoyed this sort of silly Harry Potter themed episode for his birthday. It's been a lot of fun. Again, thank you everyone for your well wishes while I've been away. And I look forward to continuing with new episodes soon. Thank you. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more of what I've been doing outside of these videos, you can see more at theradicaldreamer.com, where I've got articles and photographs with travel advice and stories that aren't just in a video format. You can follow me on Twitter at OneRadicalDreamer, or on Instagram at ARadicalDreamer, if that's something that you're more interested in. If you're interested in supporting me, I do have a Patreon page up as well, which you can find at patreon.com/TheRadicalDreamer. And that's a way for as little as $1 a month you can help support me get better equipment and do more videos of this type and make a whole bunch more cool stuff to share with you in the future. And last but not least, if you like what you've been seeing on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and send a couple comments. I'd be happy to answer more questions in future episodes of the podcast. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Take care.